you today with more of a story time. I may incorporate a tarot reading into this, but I just wanted to give this general energy read for the day. So I noticed that, so one of the things when we are highly sensitive beings is that we can go through, just like everyone else, we can go through conflict, but we may have heightened senses. Okay, so many of you may identify as highly sensitive people, psychics, empaths, higher level spirit people into my channel. This morning, full transparency, I had a bit of an episode of a synesthesia. So it happens for me sometimes. There's certain sounds. If there's too many that I can feel the sounds. And when I say feel the sounds, it feels like something stabbing me or harming. Currently, I have a roommate. We both have animals. Her dog, it sounds like a stampede, and it's quite loud and lots of like bumping noise routine. And in the evenings, it's often like that, like when she comes home from work and it's rather late night. Ended up behavior today triggered my fight or flight or freeze response, right? I went into that synesthesia and I've had a really hard time to calm. Hey, sorry, it went a little off on there. The day, it ended up being chaos and conflict. So you're welcome to watch that later when you get a chance. And so it's not just me. So I feel like there is there for my friends out there who and my viewers who are astrologers, because I like to keep up with astrology, but I'm certainly not an astrologer this time around. It is so much to learn. But those of you that are astrologers, I'm sure there is a reason for this energy today. Certain placements. I know there's so much changing and we are at a time of shakeup and change. And this energy feels very much like Uranian energy. Like, so Uranus, what it does is it helps us to change and grow through shakeups and unexpected events, right? So even though this morning, the energy was really chaotic at the house, and so I did not handle it well. Okay, so it doesn't matter if you're spiritual or you're not. We have to give ourselves grace and give ourselves time to regulate the nervous system. Okay, we still have bodies. So though we're spiritual beings and I've had these beautiful enlightening experiences. I know many of you have had enlightening experiences. But what I noticed for myself is when I went into that fight, flight, or freeze mode this morning, I also went into an old pattern of beating myself up about it because I don't want to behave that way. It doesn't feel good on the other end when someone behaves that way, so I went into running mode, right? And so I was angry at first because that fight, flight, or freeze got up really extra, okay? And it was like my body was compelled to do that. It was, and once that adrenaline starts to calm down, you know, uh, then grace needs to be employed. So this is part of what I wanted to talk about because there's ever-changing energies, and we are moving through the energy of today. Feels like when we look at this chaos and conflict card, notice that the zebras had on a different pattern that isn't the zebra, right? So it's like feels like that there's energies today that are just going to shake things up in such a way to help us relieve certain patterns. And so we may experience and be calm through it. This particular talk story here is that even if you are in a situation in a moment where you lose your cool, right? Or you're not at your perfect self. It's okay. We're human. Even if you resonate as a star seeder light worker, you're still going to hash with myself about my behavior. Now, do I have some changing to do? Of course, okay. And a conversation to be had later about what happened there, and each other home, okay, home to ourselves, home to our spiritual beingness. And sometimes we get caught up in the emotions or the circumstances when we are the creators of our reality. And so, in that big contrast, what I have environment, I'm manifesting really, really, really well, right? So, if we have extreme conflict or chaos, all that says is that that's a contrast, and that we have something really beautiful that we have just asked for and put into our vortex. If you follow Abraham Hicks' work, you'll know what I mean by that. Okay. And so today, give yourself some grace. Okay. Because there may be some old patterns that are shaking up, trying to release themselves. And sometimes, look, we're in human bodies. And I have done the best that I can do to self-soothe myself, even previous to this happening. And clearly, I did not go far enough in the self-soothing to calm my nervous system enough to handle that. That felt like my body took it as a physical threat, even though it was not. Okay. And so we just have to understand that we have bodies and understand that we are having an experience, and it's okay. Sometimes we might lose our temper. Sometimes we might go into certain responses when our nervous system is overloaded or overtaxed. It's really okay. Um, Many of us have been going through different stages of grief. Okay, those things come on like a wave. So this particular message today that I'm getting from Spirit is it's okay. That it's okay. It's okay to be having a human experience. It's okay to feel all of the different emotions that you feel. It's okay to have sometimes a response that isn't perfect. It's okay sometimes if there's conflict, because there's going to be. We can't go through life without conflict or without there being things where we might not agree with, right? Um, in a perfect world, and maybe we're moving to that, where there's never a conflict. Um, Maybe we're moving to that, but in the human experiment so far, in all the lives that I've lived so far, I haven't found that you get that there isn't contrast. The whole point of this uh, life is to move through the contrast to create something better or more expansive. And so there's no need to throw away the different emotions that we have. And it's really good to employ grace. Okay, so I share my story with you guys because some of you might be going through or have just gone through a time where where you've had extended growth spiritually, and you've really moved up on the spiritual scale, and then something comes in and blammo, you feel like you're back to an energy or a behavioral representation that is an old version of yourself. And that's okay. That's part of the wave. That's part of the learning. The pendulum swing. Okay, one of the laws of the universe is the law of rhythm. Okay, and rhythm says the pendulum will swing one side to the other, and that goes right along with the law of polarity. And what you're doing in this process of mastery is learning how to have homeostasis somewhere in the middle, so that we don't swing one way to the other when we're going through a bit of conflict or contrast. But sometimes we're not there yet at mastery, okay? And it's okay. It's really, really okay. And that's the main message for today. I'm going to get a couple of cards just to see how can we handle the, contrasting energies. How can we handle that today? Okay. Okay. So, and one more, they said. Perfect. So we've got an energy here of orphaned. Okay. So part of what Spirit's saying is with the conflict or chaos in the energy, this change up in the energy that's letting us let go of our masks, letting us let go of kind of the negative belief systems that we've been having. The core of it is coming from an abandonment perspective. Okay, so with this group and who's attracted to this, you may have some things coming up around abandonment. So a parent might have abandoned you, or you might have felt abandoned by a spouse. Normally this happens in childhood. It could be a past life remembrance if you didn't have it this time, but there is anxious attachment. There is some orphaned feelings like I've not been loved or respected. So you've created this safety around yourself in such a way that sometimes the nervous system gets overtaxed. Most light workers, healers, and star seeds chose really harder childhoods, okay, so that we could serve a higher number of people and have the experiential wisdom to help people. Okay, so that's that card came out. We have no place like home. So how to handle this is to really find home within yourself, and also maybe do some clear out, decluttering, purging of certain things in your home space to change the energy. Okay, and then we got higher power. All right, so today the foundation here is to really get in here on your third eye. It looks like she's got like a key or a gateway keyhole there on her third eye. And this is your higher self is going to help you. Okay, what's happening here? It feels like when you look at these cards, it feels like there's an inner child energy happening. You have your higher self, and then there's a merging that's happening with the home inside your heart. Okay, and so what Spirit's saying here is how to move through any type of conflict, chaos, or drama, as some people call it, or just contrast, okay, is to seek out and speak with and allow your higher power, higher source, higher self to help you to merge and integrate that part of your inner child that felt abandoned. Okay, put it in the home of your heart. Okay, put your inner child, let your higher self and source comfort and soothe your inner child, and enter into the home space of your own heart and your own joy. Okay, and you give yourself grace as you go. You allow your higher self and source to provide for you the necessary energies to make the change, to help you to regulate. Okay, it's okay sometimes to not be okay. And uh, just putting on a happy face all the time isn't real or authentic. So it's really okay. So energies may be a little bit squirrely today is basically what they're getting at. But let's use that energy and that contrast to create something new, to create this beautiful home within your heart space, and to really integrate your higher power source with the abandoned inner child. What you want to do is really allow them to work together today to help you regulate. Please give yourself grace, because the energies are a little bit transformative, to say the least, today. But it does feel like through contrast, you build It is the law. You build the and create the opposite. Okay, you've got that law going on. That if you've got contrast on one side, you've already created what you would rather have, and that's waiting for you in your vortex. So self-soothe in any way that you can. I would say declutter your house today if you can. Change up the energy. Do some meditation work where you allow your kind of abandoned inner child that has maybe felt orphaned or left out of a process. Allow your higher power to not only hold and love up on that part of you, but actually helping to make a safe and beautiful home within your heart for your inner child so that it's no longer orphaned, that it is cared for, that it is loved, and that way it does not have to act out in the human form. So that's what I have for you. Thank you so much. You guys, please give yourself grace today as you go through change, transformation. I know I'm going to do the best I can to employ grace with myself as well. And yeah, and I will talk to you soon. Love you guys. And until next time, aloha.